And we actually do something called strategic storyline, which we talked about on the podcast. And mostly we're helping leaders figure out what
to focus on.
What to actually focus on. And a lot of them realize that when they're clear about their mission and vision, there's a lot of things that they do that don't make sense for them to give time and energy to that.
Yeah.
And so this is the area to be cautious about. Hey, just because you do a lot of activity and you're busy doesn't mean you're being impactful or leading well.
Yeah. I think there's a tendency to engage in activities that are maybe, I don't know, easy, low-hanging fruit as a leader I'm talking, but not
make you feel good about yourself.
Personally, make you feel good, or that bring you a lot of accolades, right? There's this thing that I've seen in leadership where, because right now let me just put it this way, there's great opportunities for leaders, for gifted leaders, gifted speakers, right? People who have that people want to hear. So there's a lot of opportunity beyond just your organization.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things I do tend to see a lot is that as leaders get quote unquote successful, they begin to spend more time where they're wanted rather than where they're needed. And I think that as a leader, you have to be able to prioritize those things, right? It might feel better to go where you're wanted, and you might convince yourself that you're actually needed there.
Sure.
But the reality is we're a dime a dozen in terms of platforms and things like that, right? It's not like the platform's going to die if we're not on it, right? There's plenty of other people to fill it. So I think it's important for us as leaders, like for me, the big picture prioritization, the first step for me is to understand, like, is this something that am I needed here, or am I just, do it because I'm wanted there?
Right.
So be clear about what it is that you're trying to focus on and why. Again, going back to the why, right? Why is it that I feel like I want to do this, or I need to spend time on this? But I think the second thing is then just be clear about kind of the problem that you're trying to solve, right? Because again, we talk a lot about this in our strategic storyline and in other places, that problem solving, I think, is one of the most important things that we do as a leader. So when you look at the span of your activities and all of the things that take up your time and how much energy you're giving to those things, I think you need to ask yourself the question, what problem is getting solved by me participating in all of these things?
Yes.
And if it's not really clear what it is that you're accomplishing, what problem you're solving, I would say it's time to do some prioritization work.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. And I think a good example of this is I'm in that stage right now where the last 5 years, I've had to put myself to a lot of work to building up different departments in the organization, or giving time and leadership to others so they could build their departments. And I'm just getting at a time where my gifting, I have gifts to be on stage. I have forward-facing giftings like speaking and all those kind of things. Well, I've put that on the back burner for a long time because I'm like, I need to give to these spaces. We need to have a better development department. We need to have a better vision. I need to communicate. I got to be here for the staff. And now we're at a place 5 years in where I'm like, okay, I think what's best now is outward facing. Can I go speak these places? Can we write the book? All those kind of things. But I had to prioritize those. And that took 5 years to get to the place that I'm at now. And that's what we mean by, that's what it could look like. So
I think too, Tommy, that you bring up a really good point. And I think maybe this is something that scares leaders when we talk about prioritizing, right? Prioritizing in the right way may actually lead to a loss of opportunities.
Oh, absolutely.
And the question is, are you willing to do that?
Yeah.